Test 1 2. Good morning, radio stations. Please stand by. The daily press briefing will start in approximately 2 minutes. Please stand by. Radio stations, please stand by. We'll start in 20. In 10 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, all of you present here, and those of you listening via every medium. Welcome to yet another press briefing hosted by the Office of the Prime Minister. I am Kamala John Baptist Aaron, Press Secretary. This morning, ladies and gentlemen, the press briefing just days before we celebrate Christmas in Dominica worldwide, but we're concentrating on Dominica. The people of the St. Joseph constituency have good tidings coming. In that regard, let me quickly say a very special good morning to the members of Cabinet who are here, the Minister for Information, Science, Telecommunication and Technology, also the Member of Parliament for the St. Joseph constituency, Honourable Kelva Daru, the Minister for Public Works and Ports, Senator Miriam Blanchard, the Permanent Secretary in that ministry, other invited guests, my colleagues in the media, one and all, welcome to what is, you would have witnessed as another signing ceremony led by the government of Dominica post-Hurricane Maria. This morning, you will see the signing ceremony for the construction of a Layou Emergency Shelter and Resource Center. With that, I feel privileged to call the first speaker to the podium, the Member of Parliament for the St. Joseph constituency and Minister for Information, Science, Telecommunication and Technology, the Honourable Kelva Daru.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Aaron. Let me recognize the presence of my colleague Minister, Honourable Miriam Blanchard, Minister of Public Works and Ports, P.S. Edwards, Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Public Works and Ports, the contractor, Mr. Maxroy, who is here with us this morning, members of the media, as well as those of you listening via the various mediums, both here and abroad. A pleasant good morning, one and all. Today's contract ceremony signifies the penultimate step towards the construction of a community emergency shelter for the residents of Layou. This project, to the tune of $2.34 million, is indicative of the government of Dominica's vision to construct climate-resilient infrastructure post-Hurricane Maria. Very importantly, for those of you who may not know, this project has been on the cards for a number of years. And finally, we are seeing the realization of this project. This project came about after the collapse of the Mati Dam in Layou in 2011. And at that stage, the government of Dominica secured a loan from the Caribbean Development Bank to ensure that we could have provided not just a shelter, but also a community center for the community of Layou, which was adversely impacted after the collapse of that dam. The government had in fact responded quickly to the residents' plea after that dam collapsed in 2011 by providing the fishers of that community with tremendous support, as well as some of the unemployed women of that community with training in various skills so that we could have enhanced and get them back to their livelihoods. And that is what a compassionate government does when disaster strikes. Today I stand there as a proud Member of Parliament, knowing the importance of this project to the community of Layou, more so after the passage of Hurricane Maria. Presently, there is not a disaster or a resource center in the community of Layou. And I believe that this project will have significant benefits towards the residents of that community. In the initial stages, providing employment during the construction, and the contractor is there, and I'm sure that he will engage a number of the skilled people in the community of Layou on that project. And I'm saying that publicly, so that the contractor will employ as many persons from the community, as well as, when completed, provide an opportunity for hosting training and skill development sessions so as to advance the development of skills in that community. The facility will also be used for recreational purposes, and more importantly, or I should say most importantly, it will be used as a disaster shelter for the residents whenever disasters like hurricanes are on the way. And that is one of the main reasons I'm so proud this morning as a Member of Parliament. The government of Dominica has already secured the land for the construction of that facility. The land is located in the old Layou housing scheme right next to where Glenda has a bar. For those of you who know Glenda Bar on the highway, it is right, that portion of land right there on the highway. So it is indeed a safe location away from the Layou River, and it will allow the residents to be secured in the event that we have a hurricane or any other disaster, where they can feel at peace during that time. We all saw the impact that Hurricane Maria had on Dominica, and we are quite aware that for us to be able to withstand the impact of these hurricanes, we have to ensure that the construction methods that we implement are up to par. I am sure, based on the designs of the building and the approval of the Caribbean Development Bank, as well as the engineers and the technical people within the Ministry of Public Works, the structure will in fact meet all the requirements of a state-of-the-art facility. So once again, I am very thankful to the Ministry of Public Works for ensuring that we get to the stage. Like I said, it's the penultimate stage. All that is left to do after we have completed it today is the actual groundbreaking and construction of the facility. I'm also thankful to the Honorable Prime Minister for his tremendous support in ensuring that we stuck to this project, and we are here today to actually sign the contract so we can begin work on that project. Let me just also highlight a few other areas and activities that are currently taking place within the St. Joseph constituency post-Hurricane Maria. We have been able to remove all of the residents who were housed at the shelter at the Isaiah Thomas Secondary School post-Maria back at the Hillsborough Gardens where they reside. And we did so by completing the re-roofing of 11 homes so that all of the residents who were housed at the shelter at the Isaiah Thomas Secondary School are now back at their homes at Hillsborough Gardens. So the school will be fully handed over to the principal and staff, full complement of classrooms for the new school term come January the 3rd. Additionally, we have ongoing housing renovations in the community of Layou and St. Joseph. We've partnered with the Red Cross in the community of Layou to re-roof some of the houses that were impacted post-Maria, and the government is providing tremendous support towards that initiative. Yesterday, the Prime Minister approved in the first instance an amount of $150,000 that will go towards the re-roofing of houses, first 15 houses in the community of Bells. So the residents of Bells, we are on our way to you, and we will begin work immediately as soon as the funds have gone through the system. We will begin work immediately to start an initial 15 houses in the Bells community. I want to thank tremendously the community of Miro and the residents there for doing a tremendous work in cleaning of the beach and getting the beach back to a state of readiness for the upcoming tourism season. The residents there worked diligently, and we partnered with the Ministry of Tourism to ensure that we can get the beach back to a state of readiness for the tourist season, because as we are all aware, Miro is one of the most popular beaches in Dominica. And I'm very satisfied as a Member of Parliament with the efforts of the residents of Miro in ensuring the cleanliness and upkeep of the beach post-Hurricane Maria. We have also partnered with the UNDP in the Layou community for a similar beach cleanup, and that is ongoing as I speak, and I'm very happy that once again we have gotten that support and we are able to engage locals on that project towards the cleanliness of the beach in Layou. As I speak to you again, I also want to thank my colleague minister, the Minister of Public Works, and also the Minister of Finance, the Prime Minister, for their tremendous support in ensuring that we were able to have the St. Joseph River dredged. And that also is ongoing as I speak. The dredging of the river was a very important project and also very urgent, particularly for the residents who reside in the Otrobando area. As a Member of Parliament, I could feel the anxiety of the residents because of the high siltation in that river, and I'm very pleased that the works are ongoing, and we anticipate that the works will soon be completed. And from what I have seen, I'm very satisfied with the ongoing works and the contractor for doing a tremendous job thus far in the dredging of the St. Joseph River to allay the fears of the residents in the Otrobando area in St. Joseph. We have also started a very aggressive program partnering with the Ministry of Agriculture to have the farm access roads throughout the constituency cleared. We have already addressed the roads in the Layou Valley area, that is to say the Atley and the Niba area, the farm roads in Agul, and we will be continuing works in the Chapara area. Additionally, we'll also be addressing the works on the old Kahom Road, which passes through the Layou Valley area as well. We've also had to do a temporary bypass to give the farmers full access back through the Layou Valley area after they had to traverse through the Wana Road to access their farms via the Layou Valley. So we have ongoing works taking place now in clearing of the farm access roads. In the Cuba Kahom Road area, we have a challenge there. We have already begun discussions with the Ministry of Public Works, and we await the technical advice as to how best we can assist the farmers after a section of that road had collapsed after Maria. The farmers now have to either park their vehicles at a further point or use the Salisbury end of that road to access their farms, which is a longer road for the farmers. And so we have to wait on the advice of the Ministry of Public Works in finding a proper access to get the farmers who have their farms in the Kahom area back to their farmers. This is a very productive area. A number of the farmers there are from St. Joseph, some of the biggest farmers in Dominica. That's where they have their production on their farms taking place, as well as the farmers in Miro and also some of the farmers in Salisbury. So hopefully sometime early in the new year, Minister of Works, I'm looking forward for us working to address that situation for the farmers in the Kahom area. Let me, at this point in time, take the opportunity as well to thank all of the teams who have worked with us since the passage of Hurricane Maria throughout the constituency. They've done a tremendous job, and I must commend them publicly for all the efforts. I do not want to call any names at this point in time, lest I forget, but I just want to say a big thank you to all of the people of the St. Joseph constituency who, in one way or the other, gave their support, whether it's through cleanup, through distribution of relief, and whatever the case may be, towards the post-Maria efforts. I also want to thank the Honorable Prime Minister for his continued leadership post-Hurricane Maria. As we are well aware, the Prime Minister has developed a keen relationship with the international community, and we were able to see that demonstrated here post-Hurricane Maria with the input of love and the outpouring of love that we received there, both in terms of relief supplies and also financial contributions that we received from the international community. This shows that Prime Minister Skerrit is respected globally, and he is a leader that continues to chart this country in the right direction. And so I want to make it public that the government and the cabinet of Dominica stands fully in support of our Prime Minister Roosevelt Skerrit as he continues to lead us in the post-Maria era. Let me take this, before I close, take the opportunity as well to wish all of my constituents a Merry Christmas. This is a time for giving. It is a time for sharing. It's a time for love. It's a joyous moment. In spite of the challenges that we have endured post-Maria, I believe we have life, and we can still give God thanks and praise for the Christmas season and for giving us the opportunity once again to renew our commitment towards nation building and ensuring that we all play our part, no matter how big or small, towards the advancement of our country. So once again, a very Merry Christmas to all of the residents of the St. Joseph constituency, and also to all of you, the people of Dominica, listening, both here and abroad. God bless you and thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Daru. The next speaker, ladies and gentlemen, is the first woman in the history of Dominica to hold a portfolio as Minister of Public Works and Ports. She's Senator Miriam Blanchard. In this post-Hurricane Maria era, as Honorable Daru just said, I don't think I need to emphasize to you how much weight is on her shoulders as the country builds back, literally. As we've moved forward with the signing ceremony, ladies and gentlemen, let me call to the podium the Minister responsible for Public Works and Ports, the Honourable Miriam Blanchard.
Thank you, Mrs. Aaron. I would like to begin by extending a pleasant good morning to all of you present here today. In particular, my colleague, the Parliamentary Representative for the St. Joseph constituency, Honorable Kelva Daru, Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Public Works and Ports, Ms. Denise Edwards, the representative of Roy C., Mr. Clement Rouet, to you, the media, and of course to the listening public at home and abroad. It gives me great pleasure to be here this morning to participate in today's post-Hurricane Maria press briefing, during which, as you've already heard, the government of Dominica will sign yet another important contract, this time for the construction of an emergency shelter resource center in the community of Layou. The lessons from past weather events, including Hurricane Maria, have shown that we must focus on building a more climate-resilient Dominica. Recent weather events have highlighted the vulnerabilities of several areas across our beautiful island. And all of us here today are aware that the community of Layou is certainly one of them, largely due to its close proximity to the Layou River and to the sea. It is with this in mind that a few years ago, this proactive government identified and began design work on a number of infrastructure projects aimed at safeguarding life and property in the community of Layou. In short, our vision was to commence the building of a more climate-resilient community. And today, we are much closer to making this a reality with the signing of today's contract. Some of the projects in the pipeline to achieve this include the reconstruction of the York Valley Bridge, which was damaged in 2011. The government of the People's Republic of China once again showed their genuine friendship for the people of the Commonwealth of Dominica with the commitment to replace that bridge at no cost to us. As we are all aware, this project is nearing completion. In fact, the bridge was scheduled to be officially opened this month, but was delayed by the passing of Hurricane Maria. I am happy to share with you today that discussions are ongoing between the government of Dominica and the People's Republic of China so that work can resume shortly. You will also recall that a few months ago in June 2017, the government of Dominica and Offshore Civil and Marine Inc. signed a contract totaling $5.8 million for the rehabilitation of the highway and construction of river defense northwest of the Hillsborough Bridge. Work on that project was first delayed due to the unavailability of material in the region and further by the passage of Hurricane Maria. However, I am pleased to confirm that works on that project started earlier this week and will intensify in January 2018. Parliamentary Representative we are working with you to ensure a resilient community and constituency. The Layou Infrastructure Rehabilitation Project, which also includes the reconstruction of a section of road between the Hillsborough and York Valley bridges, as well as river defenses, is still a priority. The designs for those works were substantially completed prior to the passage of the hurricane. However, this must be reviewed to address the present realities as well as vulnerabilities that were more apparent after the passage of Hurricane Maria. This morning, the government of Dominica, represented by the Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Public Works and Ports, Ms. Denise Edwards, and the representative of Roy C. Real Estate Construction Company Limited, Mr. Clement Roying, will sign a contract for the construction of the Emergency Shelter Resource Center at Layou. The project, which forms part of the overall Layou Infrastructure and Rehabilitation Project, is funded by a loan from the Caribbean Development Bank with counterpart funding from the government of Dominica. The contract sum is $2.34 million EC dollars. Ladies and gentlemen, today's ceremony marks yet another milestone in the building of a more climate-resilient island, this time in the community of Layou. I have been assured that this emergency shelter has been designed with climate change resilience at the forefront of its objectives. The 9,456 square foot structure will be able to provide shelter for approximately 150 persons and will contain adequate washroom and laundry facilities, an infirmary area to treat the sick, dormitory accommodation, and a catering area. Also, it is important to note that consideration was also given to the physically challenged members of that community, with inclusion of access ramps to the building and barrier-free access to restrooms. This modern and attractive state-of-the-art facility will not only be available for disasters, but will also be available to accommodate community activities such as meetings and other educational and professional programs when not being used as a shelter. Ladies and gentlemen, on completion, the Layou Emergency Shelter Resource Center will be the first of its kind on the island. I wish to congratulate the contractor who has been awarding this contract today. The Ministry of Public Works and Ports and its staff looks forward to working closely with you and the consultant in the execution of the works outlined in the contract. Indeed, we look forward to the successful execution of the project through high-quality work and completion within budget and time frame as stipulated in the contract. I would like to thank the people of Layou for their patience. I also wish to solicit the cooperation of the general public who traverse the area as we embark on this project. Lastly, I would like to thank the staff of the Ministry of Public Works and Ports for their continued commitment to rebuilding our island, Dominica. May God bless our efforts as we continue to rebuild our island into a more climate-resilient Dominica. I thank you.
We thank you right back, Minister Blanchard. And ladies and gentlemen, at this time, the crux of the matter, the signing of the contracts. So let's invite the PS and all the relevant parties to sign the contract for this building, the first of its kind in Dominica, to be situated in the community of Layou, overall in the constituency of St. Joseph. You notice how thick that contract is. Thank you very much. This ceremony, though short, is significant. It's significant for the people of Layou, the constituency of Layou, and overall, the people of Dominica, as this Dominica Labour Party government continues to steer forward the people of Dominica, both nationals and residents, post-Hurricane Maria. Thank you very much, Minister, Honourable Daru, Member of Parliament for the St. Joseph constituency, Minister for Information, Science, Telecommunication and Technology. Also, thank you very much, Minister for Public Works and Ports, Senator Miriam Blanchard, the Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Public Works and Ports, Ms. Denise Edwards, the contractor this morning, all of the media here this morning, who we depend on to bring the information to the people of Dominica and the rest of the world. Thank you very much for your work, those of you here and those of you following via the various mediums. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you one and all, and have a great day.